Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the weekly show with Aditya. A half an hour show every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in association with Dusra.net, the number one website. Hello, everyone. The champ is back. Did you miss me in these 15 days? Well, I certainly did miss you. So let's get back to business and talk about a few pertinent topics. If my fans did something interesting in their holidays, mail it to me and I will select the best one and make sure that your fellow listeners know about your adventures. You know my email ID. It's adityaeditor@gmail.com. It's adityaeditor@gmail.com. If Delhi's weather is putting you off to sleep and you feel slack, well, your favorite host will make sure that your eyes are open when you hear my voice. So, how do we start tonight's show? Well, let's start with sporting events. Two important sporting events happened in the last 48 hours, and yet we are focusing on the negative. When I mean sporting events, I mean the international events only. We will talk about the Indian Football League at a later date. For now, let's talk about India's performance against Bangladesh, which has been called tepid, poor, lackluster, the whole 9 yards of questionable team selection, etc. etc. Instead of celebrating Indian hockey team marching into the Olympics by beating Russia, the men's team beat Russia in the Olympic qualifier. The women's team beat USA in the Olympics qualifier. Why are we not celebrating this achievement? Why are we not hopeful that one day the Indian football team will eventually and hopefully make it through the qualifiers for the Football World Cup? Maybe not in 2022, but certainly in 2030. Yet the main news is about India's performance in the 20 over match against Bangladesh. Why? Because after 9 matches and having been 8-0 down till yesterday, Bangladesh beat India, and this adds even more emotion to the fact that their main player Shakib has been suspended due to match fixing by the International Cricket Council. But unlike Australia, South Africa, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, who have only a limited number of players, they will certainly select Shakib Al Hasan back in the team once his suspension is up. Though 2 years is a bit harsh, I don't understand what are the rules surrounding the match fixing situation. Unlike Steve Smith and David Warner, who were in the limelight for the duration they were suspended, I have a feeling that Shakib might not get the same attention as those two individuals got. So, once again, it is the country you represent and what impact the country has as a playing nation, and in the economic sense that one focuses on that individual. Unlike Steve Smith and David Warner, whom we abused for 1 year, we may not even do that for Shakib Al Hasan, though that is a matter of debate. He will not be in the limelight, but let me tell you, once his suspension is up, even if that means missing the next year's 20 over World Cup, he will be inducted into the team without any question because of the emotion surrounding each and every Bangladesh player. As cricket is the only sport which Bangladesh seems to like. Yes, they have hockey and football, but they are not that sold about hockey and football as they are over fanatic about cricket. So once this individual's term finishes, he will be back. He may or may not be the captain, but people, the country, the board, his fellow players, everyone will accept him happily. But now let's focus on the India Bangladesh match, which is a precursor, a preparation for the 20 over World Cup next year. Right now, there are so many 20 over bilateral series or private matches happening that it is difficult to keep count. Because remember, Sri Lanka beat Pakistan 3-0, Australia beat Sri Lanka 3-0, England and New Zealand are tied at 1-all. We even have teams like Papua New Guinea, Spain, and others also trying to qualify for the 20 over World Cups. With so many matches happening, it's difficult to keep account. And yet, I do not agree with those who would call yesterday's performance as mediocre, because what is the definition of mediocre? No one knows. Even I don't know what defines, what confines mediocrity. It wasn't surprising that Bangladesh came up with a better plan than previous teams like South Africa and West Indies. Yet, I think India performed well with the limited resources they have, with them giving a few iconic players rest. Kohli has been rested. Pandya is recovering from an injury. Jadeja is rested. Kuldeep Yadav is nowhere to be seen. So whatever options the interim captain Rohit Sharma had, he worked beautifully with it. And once again, the question of the middle order muddle comes into play. Now, finally, they decided that they will not send Rishabh Pant at number 4. They sent Shreyas Iyer, and he was playing well. He hit a shot which would have on any other day gone for a 6. But unfortunately, a fielder decided to intercept that shot and took a catch. So for me, getting to 149 was a good performance, except for that one over which went for over 18 runs, which was, if you look at what the situation was in a 20 over match, using your brains is not part of the deal. A 20 over match is like watching an Indian movie. You don't have to think about anything. It's all about just going there and saying anything without any kind of game plan. Just like in Indian movies, things move in a very haphazard fashion with no plot, no idea what is happening, what we call a khichdi. Same way it is for 20 over matches. A shot can become a 6, the same shot can be out. If you saw the shot Mushfiqur Rahim played when he paddled from the stumps for 4, had he missed, he would have been bowled or LBW. Yes, there was a dropped catch by Kunal Pandya, but then that's how it is. Had he taken the catch, maybe he would have said Bangladesh lost from a winning position. But that's the nature of this sport. It's bygones be bygones. Eventually, Bangladesh opened their account in a 20 over match against India. But I don't think India need to be depressed or sad about it. If you look at the England-New Zealand series, a similar thing happened. New Zealand made 150 in their 20 overs. England chased that down with alacrity. And in the second match, New Zealand once again batted first. And the same England team, we saw players dropping catches. New Zealand went out to make around 180. And then what happened? England was doing well, yet no one stuck around. And they eventually fell short by 21. The best part about a 20 over match is that you don't have to take it seriously. Yes, You have to put in an effort, but we know why individuals love 20 over matches, because it's a quick fix solution. One doesn't have to work too hard. You only have 3 hours. You come at 7 p.m. and then you go back home at 10 p.m. at worst. The match could get over before that as well. But why not talk about something positive? Why not talk about India's qualification for the Olympics through qualifiers, which itself I found to be insulting that a potential team, the best in the world, had to go through qualifiers to qualify for the World Cup. But we do not celebrate that. What we do, we give it as always a small snippet in the last page. Even the women's team has done something which has never happened before. Yes, the women's team has qualified for the Olympics, but the way the men's team beat Russia with such authority and women's team beat USA with equal authority, you have to be proud of both the teams. And yet, when we talk about women's team, the only team that we talk about in the context of team is the cricket team. So once again, cricket takes the majority of the pie. For me, it's a very negative thing. But my question is, why was the cricket match happening in Delhi of all the places? Forget the pollution factor. The stadium is not good enough to host any match. Whatever be the hype around the fog created in Delhi, it certainly did not hamper the spirits of individuals coming to watch a match, because Delhi rarely hosts a match. But let's go deep into the performances of each and every individual. Let's start with everyone's punching bag. Once again, Rishabh Pant. He must be feeling disheartened that the DRS always puts him in the villain's corner. Yesterday, they did not review an LBW because Pant did not feel it was out, though the computerized system gave it the indication that it was hitting the stumps, but in real time it might have looked not out. And then he appealed for a caught behind where the Snicko did not catch the edge and the team lost the review. Talking about reviews, for me, two reviews should be given at least in 50 over and 20 over matches, and teams should not lose a review. And for me, more than 15 seconds should be given for the captain to decide, because when the timer starts on the big screen, it's difficult to decide in those 15 seconds whether the player should go for the review or not. In every sport, the review is such an instinct thing. There is no time for the players in real time to think twice. We can debate later on whether the review was poor or was it brilliant. Like in Rohit Sharma's case, it could have gone either way, but what happened happened. But for me, reviews have to be given a more focused thought. There should be at least two reviews in 20 over and 50 over matches and four reviews in 5-day matches. Now let's talk about one more important thing. We keep saying that T20 cricket is harming the other formats. Well, if you look at the scheduling by the boards, they are giving importance to 20 over matches. The qualifying matches are for the 20 over World Cups. Private tournaments like the T10 tournaments are being organized where either fringe players are being given a chance or individuals who have retired and still want to earn through some or other means are going there. So when you are giving importance to formats which are getting smaller and smaller by every minute, means that T10 means that it's almost like a football game. The match finishes in 90 minutes. But unlike a football or a hockey match where the timer keeps the players on their toes and each and every second is precious, in cricket they do not care about the time. If the matches are starting at 9 p.m. local time, then we know what the organizer's mindset is. This presumption that people are now working hard and they don't have time like good old days gone by where they could watch an 8 hour match, or for the fact that they could watch a 3.5 hour 20 over match. They want everything fast. Fast food, fast cars, fast matches. Well, it's an irony in every sense. These private tournaments are a win-win for everyone. They get players who have never played before into the limelight, and then they give players who are retired one more chance, a shot at glory. Because in sports, after retiring, you either become a coach, or you go into a shell, or you go into administration. And not everyone enjoys paperwork and hassling and dealing with all kinds of people. Now back to the 20 over World Cup. Yes, it's still a year away. The Olympics is just less than 9 months from today. So the hype surrounding these tournaments is bound to rise every passing month. And as it gets closer, the organizing countries will start opening ticketing booths online as well as offline. There will be a mad scramble for tickets for both the tournaments. In the starting, the tickets will be very high, and eventually it will come down to an auction as to who bids for how many tickets. Travel packages will also open, and then we will know what the reality of the situation is, because in these tournaments, tickets being sold illegally, or what they call black, or transferring to someone else, will become the norm as it has been before. And the fact that now it's online, it even adds more fun to the entire episode. If the Olympics is 9 months away in August 2020, then I am sure the tickets will start selling by February 2020, and we will see the mad scramble for tickets, the expensive hotels, prices going up, people fighting over minor and petty issues. There could be some points where the host country, for example, in Olympics, it is Japan, and the International Olympic Association may not agree on a few points. As far as ticketing is concerned, there will be inspection of the venues. Just because it's Japan, it doesn't mean that everything will be perfect. There will be news reports where you will read that the venues are not ready, or some minor thing is missing, the athletes are not getting their visas. Such problems always happen, and that is how a sporting event gets the limelight, despite the fact that it may be negative, or it may highlight the struggles of organizing a tournament. But I am sure this is not the first time an Olympic event is being organized. But it's in your modern day era, so the issues related to it will be different than what was 100 years ago. People will start writing op-eds that the romanticism related to Olympics is missing. Everything is commercialized. Well, it was commercialized 100 years ago, but it wasn't given that kind of an effect because of the lack of medium. Now we have the print, the electronic, and the digital media operating at the same time in a confluence. It will be different than what was. Yes, there will be a few different things, but commercialization of an event has always been there. It's just how we view the particular commercialization. There could be a possibility that not all events will be open to journalists, some could be closed events. We don't know what is going to happen. With so many event sponsors, you might see more of ads about the sponsor than the matches themselves. And the best part is, if you are a former player and you have been recruited by a broadcaster to be the expert, you don't even have to go to the venue to give your points. You could be sitting in the studio in some other country and just ranting out your expertise without any knowledge of the game. And even if you have played the game, I have seen this on multiple occasions, the ego surrounding on you being called an expert affects you in such a manner that even those who have played one match will give the impression that they have played 100 matches. The world survives on publicity. Now, even more with so many mediums available to publicize the event, have your propaganda. The opening ceremonies of such events are always an important event. Why? Because they give an indication of what the hosts are going to do. In these opening ceremonies, what you will see is teams being led by a certain individual. Who will it be? Nobody knows. How are they selected? I have no idea. But it's not going to be surprising if someone like a Neeraj Chopra or a PV Sindhu or even a Manu Bhaker are selected as the team leading the contingent, getting the nationalism, the pseudo nationalism flowing with the flags flying high of every country. But that depends from which country are you watching it. If you are watching from the host country Japan, then the maximum cheers will be reserved for the team representing Japan. If you are watching from the comfort of your couch in your respective country, and when your country's contingent comes up, there will be a semblance of emotion. It won't be surprising if the print, electronic, and the digital media don't add fuel to this pseudo emotion that we feel for the players. Once again, from the Indian point of view, there will be one question that will be asked by everyone, be it an expert, be it a former player, be it from the various digital, print, electronic media. The question will be, how many medals will India win? Will they go all the way in team tournaments like hockey? Will hockey struggle because they don't have the team? Will the players go through the various rounds in that particular tournament? Will they be focused after a hysterical opening ceremony? Well, these are the questions that people will ask. We will compare the medal charts to the previous Olympic tournaments or whatever tournaments that have happened before. Then we will highlight the fact that countries like USA and China are always doing well. We always question this. We know why are they doing well, yet we feel that why can't India do well? Well, the question is, forget about USA and China. Let's not put the pressure on our athletes or give the impression that they will be ostracized if they do not get the maximum number of medals, specifically gold medals. A medal is a medal after all, but when you add prefixes like gold, silver, bronze, and then it becomes a totally different thing. Gold medal, gold medalist. But the Olympics is still 9 months away. Let's talk about the same situation in the 20 over World Cup, which is also a year away, and Australia is the only country till now who hasn't hosted the 20 over World Cup. Right now, Australia is hosting this tournament alone, though they have shared previous World Cups with New Zealand, And unlike the 50 over World Cup, where the home supremacy has continued for 4 World Cups, for example, 1996 Sri Lanka, 2011 India, 2015 Australia, and 2019 England. Now, people will question me, how can I say that Sri Lanka winning the 1996 World Cup was at home? Well, they won in a city in Pakistan, Lahore or Faisalabad, but for me, it is a home situation. You are playing in that comfort of home conditions. So that does count as home supremacy. As I said before, a 20 over match is like an Indian movie. There is no script, there is no formula. We don't know what is going to happen. It is haphazard, it is a khichdi, and whatever happens, you cannot plan for it, you cannot predict it. It's impromptu, there's improvisation. Even the director, the coach won't know what will be the next scene. So they go with the flow. Similarly, in a 20 over match, you don't know what's going to happen. A 6 will be a great 6. The same shot, if caught by the fielder, will be a poor shot. It is the same for the bowlers. A yorker, if a dot ball, is a great ball, but if the batter fools you and plays a paddle sweep or through the covers, third man, or they do some improvisation, then the full toss will be questioned. The yorker becomes a full toss and it will be questioned. So, yes, you cannot plan, you don't know what's going to happen. You can plan as much as you want before the match, but you don't know what is going to happen. And then we put so much focus on the toss. Toss is completely out of anyone's hand. You don't know what's going to happen. The teams have planned for a certain situation that if they win the toss, they will bat or bowl first, but they have to be ready off with the fact that if the opposition team does something that is opposite to their planning, then they will have to change their plans on the go. So, yes, you don't know what's going to happen with the toss. Though the toss is similar to 50 overs in test matches, but there you still have some time. Here, time is a luxury. You don't have time, so you have to be smart about it. Me, I am not too concerned about these 20 over practice matches. With whatever rose colored glasses you might want to view them. Whatever happens, happens for good. I hope you enjoyed today's broadcast. Thank you very much for listening to this episode. I will be back very soon for the next episode. Please send your valuable suggestions through your comments and audio recording to the email ID adityatherewriter@gmail.com. You can also like and subscribe to my YouTube channel and Facebook page, and stay tuned for the next episode.